Hey, what's going on everybody? I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is going to be my detailed review and install of the Anderson Composites Type AR carbon fiber rocker panel splitters, available for your 2015 and newer Mustang. This quick review is going to cover my thoughts on the construction of the Anderson Composites lower splitters here, how they're going to impact the styling of your S550 Mustang, then finally we'll talk briefly about the install itself. And I'm not going to lie guys, there is a fair amount of work to get these things in place onto your ride, including the smallest amount of drilling, along with using some tools that not everybody might have in their toolbox, such as a rivet tool. So therefore I'm going soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on my difficulty meter, and again we will have a little bit more detail coming up later on. In my opinion, the Anderson Composites lower rocker splitters here are going to be for the S550 owners out there who have money to spend on big baller carbon fiber parts like this here, and therefore I want to add some of the additional styling and some additional size that these particular splitters bring to the table. Of course, these will be a great complement to other carbon fiber parts you may have already added to your S550, or just as a standalone part. I'm sure they'll look great as well. And of course, they will be a direct replacement for your V6, EcoBoost, or GT's factory splitters. I do want to point out that these things will not fit Shelby GT 350s or the 350R or cars equipped with those Roush winglets, so just keep that in mind before pulling the trigger. Now before we get started here with the splitters, I do want to quickly talk about Anderson Composites and talk a little bit more about what they do, because they are relatively new to the Mustang aftermarket. They do specialize in both fiberglass and carbon fiber parts for the late model domestic crowd, but of course their specialty is going to be the beautiful hand-laid carbon fiber parts like we have here in this video. Now, they do make some stuff for the S197 Mustang, but I'd say their specialty as of late has been with the S550 chassis. They produce a number of different parts for the newer cars, including some GT350 inspired parts for the non-Shelby cars. But with the pleasantries out of the way, let's get into the styling that the Type AR splitters here from Anderson bring to the table. And in a nutshell, guys, bigger is better. That's the whole thing with the Type AR options. One of 2 options from Anderson Composites for their carbon fiber splitters, the other being the Type OE. And as you might be able to tell from the name, the Type OE splitters are going to be more of a factory replica down to the exact dimensions. Not the case here with the Type AR. Again, a little bit more wide, a little bit more size overall, which when installed gives the car a more aggressive look in my opinion, and one that's slightly lower to the ground. And sticking with the appearance a little bit more here, guys, I do want to point out that when I first pulled these things out of the box, I was completely blown away with the level of quality. Absolute work of art here. I'd even hang these things on my damn wall if it wasn't so weird. But what I'm saying is Anderson just prides themselves on making some beautiful components, all hand laid again, and the Type AR splitters are another example of that. And again, a big reason for that is the fact that the Anderson Composite stuff is all hand-laid. And when they do that, they're able to control the consistency and the overall quality, and the end result is just a higher level part when it comes to quality or appearance. Now, sometimes when you have these tight turns or tight radius with a carbon fiber weave, the consistency or the pattern or the weave can be a little inconsistent, and that's just going to hurt the overall quality when it comes to appearance. Again, this is an appearance part after all. This is not a functional part, so you want the weave to be all consistent, all going in the same direction, and that certainly is the case here when you're looking at the Anderson stuff. And I do want to stress that again, this is going to be more of an appearance part. This is not necessarily going to be a functional part for your S550. You're not going to be shedding a ton of weight by adding these splitters. You're not adding any structural integrity to your S550. This is merely just some bling for the lower rocker panel area and some expensive bling at that. You're going to be looking at right around the $700 price point for these guys, which I know might be a little hard to swallow for some owners out there, but if carbon fiber is your thing, these are going to be some of the nicest options you can get in the category. Switching gears, let's get into the install a little bit more here. And as I mentioned at the very top of this video, there is a fair amount of work to get the Anderson splitters in place, including the smallest amount of drilling. So I'm going soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on my difficulty meter here, maybe a couple of hours from start to finish to get everything wrapped up. You're looking at a few Torx tools here, a panel removal tool, a drill, and a few drill bits to remove a couple rivets, and then finally a few 1/2 inch by 1/4 inch rivets and a rivet tool. Getting started, you're going to need to remove the factory rocker panel and splitter from the car using your Torx tool and that panel removal tool, helping you remove those push pins in the process. Once off the car, you'll need to separate the lower rocker panel area and the splitter, and this is where you're going to need to drill out a few rivets in the process. Once separate, grab the new Anderson Composites rocker and attach it to the factory lower rocker panel area using the included clips and tabs and those new rivets we talked about a little bit earlier. From there, once they're together, you can simply reattach them to the car using the factory push pins and you should be good to go. The carbon fiber aftermarket parts are certainly not for the faint of heart or wallet, but it does add a very unique look and is very desirable to a lot of owners out there. Now, the Anderson Composite stuff is going to be a premium option here on the site, but you're getting some of the best carbon fiber work I've personally seen in the category. So that's my review of the Anderson Composites Type AR splitters, which you can find right here at AmericanMuscle.com.